The have and the have-nots is back, and I must say, they didn't disappoint. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is the season premiere of the Have and the Have-Not Season 7, Episode 1, and the name of this episode is Speak Through It. Yo, I'm so happy that the Have and Have-Nots is back, and I actually say that this was a really good episode, so let me jump in. Okay, the episode picks up where it left off. Benny has been shot because, as I said from the last review, Benny was being completely fucking stupid and should have went in that house and wasn't taking Mitch's warning seriously. So because he didn't, he got shot up and he's not breathing. Hannah's there, speaking over his body, talking to God. It's like, how much more can Hannah take? I mean, she already lost her grandson, and now she could possibly, lose her son. And it's like Hannah has gotten to the point where she's literally at the end of her rope. So back at David's mansion, Veronica is laid up, after being knocked over the banister. She's alert, but she can't move, and she's in a lot of pain. Madison, being a nurse, is trying to attend to her, and the bitch is being all kind of rude, talking about some, get your dirty homosexual hands off me, and don't touch me, and don't. I'm like, bitch, this is you could fucking die, and this guy, even after you have repeatedly disrespected him when you just met him, is still trying to save your life, and you still talking shit. Like, that damn Veronica is a mess. And Jeffrey, and like, he keeps telling Jeffrey to call the ambulance. Jeffrey is just sitting there like, he's like, call the ambulance. And then, he's like, what's the address? Jeffrey ain't saying shit. So he goes to find the address, and then Veronica laying there is like, you did this. You did this. And then, he goes back to try to attend to Veronica, and she's saying, don't touch me, don't touch me. And then Jeffrey was like, look, if she don't want your help, I say don't touch her. Let her be. And he's like, come on, man, you really don't mean that. And he's like, you really don't mean that. And Jeffrey's like, wanna bet? And she's saying that, look, this is serious. She could die. He was like, please, that bitch won't die. She's like a cockroach. She always comes back. I was like, oh shit, Jeffrey. After pushing her ass off that banister, Jeffrey is feeling himself. Like, he is literally feeling his balls right now, and you can't tell Jeffrey nothing. Like, and I was just laughing at it. And afterwards, he just got real cold and was like, well, have a good night, and walked away. I'm like, oh, this damn queen is so damn shady. I was so here for it. Now we get a scene at the hospital. Hannah is there. They rush Benny to the hospital. Derek meets up with her. And Hannah's already picking up that Mitch knows something. And she talks about how when she went to go see him, when she saw him on the porch, he had stopped. When she was checking him, he wasn't breathing. And then she said he stopped breathing in the ambulance on the way here. And he lost a lot of blood. But then Derek is being there comforting her, saying that, look, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. I'm here for you. So Derek is furthermore stepping up, his role in Hannah's life. And I think he's getting more and more closer in, because I'm thinking it's going to get to the point where Hannah and Derek about to get it in. And I think we're going to find out that mystery, whether he's the guy with the lion tattoo, the guy who raped Hannah when she was in her teens. Oh yeah, I ain't forgot about that shit. Now I'm going to talk about Mitch and Hannah. Mitch finally shows up at the hospital. Hannah immediately starts in on him. It's like, why did you call me? He said that, Like, speak up. What's going on? And he pretty much tells her that, look, my family's been after him. And she was like, oh yeah, for that damn money in that tow truck. And he said, also, what happened to my Uncle Vinny? And she said, well, he had nothing to do with that. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he says, I'm gonna talk to my grandmama, trying to get this. I'm gonna try to get this situation, solved. But she's already looking Mitch side-eye like, yo, his affiliation with you is the reason why he's up in this mess. But Hannah doesn't know the full story. Mitch advised him not to do business with his family, but Benny, being the dumbass that he is, decided to do it anyway, and then wanted to give the money back. Like, bruh, this is the mob. Once you borrow the money, you gotta pay it back with interest. Ain't no just giving it back and then washing your hands of it. Once you take it, it's signed in blood. So Hannah is now starting to kind of get the idea that Mitch obviously comes from a mob family. And she's like telling him, like, I don't want you here, you need to go. And are you telling me the truth, Mitch? And Mitch is like, yes, I'm telling you the truth. I wouldn't lie to you. You know me. He's like, I don't know you. I don't know you at all. I'm like, no, boo-boo. The one you really don't know is your son, because your son is an idiot. And as much as you try to protect him, as much as you put him on this pedestal, your son ain't shit. Just saying it what it is. So, and Derek actually steps in and is like, you know what? Won't you just give her your number and she'll call you? And he was like, I'm not leaving. She's like, look, I don't want you here. Just go. Just leave. And he's like, look, I think it's a good... And Derek is like telling him, like, I think it's a good idea that you go. And he says, nah, I'm not going nowhere. This is a public hospital. I'll just go over there. I'll go in that area. But I'm going to wait until I find out what happened to my friend and see if he's okay. I'm not leaving here until I know that. I'm like, you better stand up, Mitch. Because Mitch, at the end of the day, is a real friend. He always had Benny's back. And the sad thing about it is that Benny just don't have no common sense. So Benny always putting himself into a bad situation. So back at David's house, the ambulance had came and picked up Veronica with her mean ass. Madison and Jeffrey's talking, and he was saying that they just took your mother to the hospital. You're gonna go visit her? And Jeffrey kind of gave a look like, fuck that bitch. Like, that's the attitude that he gave, like, fuck her. Like, I don't care, And he says that, and Jeffrey begins to tell him, like, do you see how the way she talks to me? Do you see the way she was, the way she came in at me like that? Like, now you know why I don't care whether she lives or dies. And Madison pretty much tells him that, look, you can't allow her actions and her negative demeanor make you bitter. You got to rise above it, And then him being the little smug ass that he is, talking about some, yeah, I mean, I did, go to school, for psychotherapy. And he's like, yeah, but you went, but you don't actually have the degree. So it's like, Jeffrey just, again, being a smug ass, being arrogant and shit. Like, bro, if you really know psychoanalysis really bad, you wouldn't be fucking around with Glenn Close. And yes, that bitch is coming back to next week's episode. Her ass gonna pop back, and I can't wait to see what Glenn Close with her fatal attraction ass gonna have for us next. Cause I just know Justin is itching to do some bullshit. Cause now he out, with Madison. He actually called Madison the bitch nurse. So pretty much, Jeffrey then apologizes to Madison and saying that, look, I'm sorry, but when it comes to my mother, I just snap and I just lose my mind. But he was like, look, let's just put this behind us and let's go to dinner. And pretty much, Jeffrey's the one that drove him there. So he was like, look, I'll buy you drive, and he says maybe afterwards, we can stop at the hospital, see how your mom doing. And he's like, you really pushing it, Madison. I'm like, you need to understand, he don't give no fucks. Like, he done attacked this bitch with a defibrillator. He done stabbed her in her implant. Like, Jeffrey wants to kill her ass, and she's just egging Jeffrey to fucking do it. It's crazy. So then we get a scene with Candace. She's in the bathroom at the Artesian. This is after her and Charles was getting it in their Sunday's best. And she's in the bathroom just crying and wailing. And it wakes up Charles. Charles goes in to check on her, and she's crying over little Quincy. And I have to say, I literally got choked up in that scene, because this is the first time she actually allowed herself to break and just allowed herself to weep. You know, because she's never fully grieved him. She's just been on mad ever since little Quincy died, and she's just been giving everybody hell ever since then. You know, and she actually finally starts saying that I caused this. My actions put him in danger. He didn't have a chance. I did this. And I'm like, finally, she's getting what Hannah's been telling her, that your actions put your son in danger. Because if you didn't mess over war wouldn't have no reason to go there looking for you. And in retaliation, he shot up the whole place, and little Quincy was the innocent bystander that got hurt. So Charles is there, you know, letting her know, like, yeah, you need to speak it, get it out. You know, you need to get this off of you. You know, and then all of a sudden she just kind of flipped and was like, okay. And then starts getting her stuff ready like she about to leave. And Charles was like, what the hell just happened? 1 minute you were like, you know, broken, and then all of a sudden you just shift, and now it's like, fuck you, I'm leaving. And he pretty much said that, look, I have to meet with the president and the first lady, because he's now the new president-elect. So he's meeting with the current president and first lady, and he wants Candace to go with him, you know. And he's like, why? She's like, why would you want me there? And he was like, look, under pressure, me and you are alike. We know how to hold it together when things really go bad. And first she's like, she doesn't want to go, but then he was saying that, look, I'm the first like single president-elect, so I'm pretty sure we can work out whatever protocol that is, where I can bring you there as my date, you know. And possibly, you know, because the role that Candace is supposed to be is the future first lady. You know, he needs a wife, you know, now that he's the president of the United States. So they're playing that. And then while they're talking, the phone rings, and it's Mitch. Mitch tells her that Benny's been shot. And immediately that damn Charles was like, oh, so it's another man. I'm like, oh, don't play that bullshit, Charles. You already knew the kind of chick she was before you got with her, so don't be doing that bullshit, you know, because her phone rang, and, you know, she already told you that the one person that she cares about deeply is her brother. So immediately she finds out what happened to Benny. She's like, I'm on my way there. But then Charles is like, oh, I'm going with you. He ends up calling Landon and Secret Service. He says, yeah, we're going to the hospital. What's the name of the hospital? And she tells them, you know, St. Claude. So they ready, and they about to go and shut down the hospital so she can see Benny. Then we get a scene at the at the hospital. The damn FBI, you know, agents are trying to talk to Veronica's doctor. He ain't giving them no kind of information, and just pays them dust. So then they get the big idea. Oh, her ass is fucked up, and you know, she already knew that they were following her anyway, because she even mentioned it the last episode when she was talking to Jeffrey. You know, that, yeah, I know I'm being followed. You know, so she knows the FBI is on to her. You know, so this is federal. And the FBI agent's like, shit, her ass fucked up. Let's go in there and talk to her. You know, see what we can get out of her. So they go in there, and it's like, oh, so I hear you had a terrible fall. And, well, and then she's like, yeah, I had a terrible fall. I don't want to be bothered. Get the hell out of here. And she was like, and she was like, I can see that you're in pain. And they was like, well, of course you know I'm in pain. You've been following me this whole time. You know. And then she was saying that, and then like they was calling back and forth or whatever, and he's like, well, you don't have any broken bones, and she's like, yeah, but I'm still in pain, asshole. And besides, you know, you trying to talk to my doctors to get my medical information, you know, that's a criminal offense. And he was like, well, I didn't get your medical records. You just told me, yeah, there are no broken bones, but you are, you know, swollen. You are, you know, your muscles are stressed and you're definitely messed up or whatever. And then she's again like, you know, get the hell out of here. Leave me the hell alone. You know, I do have my rights. And he lets her know that, look, you're under the investigation of the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as Homeland Security. You know, pretty much what you did was terrorism. You know, so you don't get, you know, the privileges of regular citizens. You know. And then she was like, and then she began to like really go in on him. It's like, man, you need to brush up on your law. And he's like, yeah, I already know you're a damn good lawyer, you know, locally, but this is federal, you know, and you know, we ready for you. And then she's like, okay, fine. So why don't you throw your best bomb? I'm like, looking at this bitch. I'm like, Veronica, even in her worst, is still the most shady, cutthroat, shit-talking bitch ever. And she just started going in on this dude. And then he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna throw our best bomb. And we're gonna see to it that we blow you up and shit. So they go back and forth. And she pretty much says that if you don't get your ignorant, sweaty ass out of my room, you know, and she's like, you on that shit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably cocaine, you know, because, you know, I do own a drug rehab facility. Yeah, I can see a junkie from a mile away, you know, so if you think you're gonna come for me, I will tear your ass up on the stand. And you might want to hurry up and leave and, you know, take care of that fix because you're leaving a puddle on my floor. I'm like, you bitch! Oh! I'm like, you cold motherfucker. I was like, damn! That shit had me rolling. I was literally in here rolling around, laughing with tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, bitch, you better read with your evil ass. Ooh, and he got so damn mad because she obviously plucked a nerve. He got out there and was so mad, like, I'm gonna nail this bitch to the wall. I want you to talk to everybody in her circle. I want you to shake everybody down because I'm gonna take her down. I'm like, mm-hmm. She got up on your skin and told you your tea, and now you ready to fuck her up. Like, I was hollering at that scene. I was like, that had to be the best scene of the night for me. Now, well, actually, you know, this one I'm about to talk about now is the second best scene for me because that damn Catherine, Catherine done, you know, purify herself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, and she is just smelling her stuff, and it smells like roses. So let me get started. So here it is back at the hotel, her and Broderick, you know, and we just see that the tables have turned. Roderick is now Catherine's bitch, and she is literally she is really letting him know who's really in charge, you know. So pretty much, Catherine was like, you know, that little damn, you know, prostitution ring you got going on, I want to shut down, and I want to shut it down. I want to shut down now. And he's like, and if I refuse? She was like, tell me something, Roderick. Where you from? He's like, I'm born in Brooklyn. And she's like, no, you're not. You're from Guatemala. And yeah, your passport's fake. Your social security number's fake. And she's like, ooh, I'm like, bitch. See, Broderick was so damn confident that he was going to take Catherine for everything she had and she was going to take her money. But now she got the one up on you. He was like, you're going to deport me? She's like, well, that depends on you. And she says, how long have you known this about me? She says, I knew that about you the moment you set your sexy Latin eyes on me. I'm like, you better get it, Catherine. And she's like, but it all depends because I would hate to send this back over the border. I'm like, you better quit, Catherine. Republican shit. I was like, ooh. Yes, that was hilarious. And then she's like, oh, don't be shy now. You were so confident just a few seconds ago. Yeah, still keep that. But then, but then she says, this is one thing I need you to do for me. I want you to help me to take down that girl, meaning Candace. And he says, I want her to go to jail, and she said that, yeah, we're going to pretty much shut this shit down and pin the whole damn thing on her. And then all of a sudden she tells him, oh, so who else knows something about her? And then he had mentioned Rocky, the bartender. So she tells him, call Rocky's ass up in here. And she says that, yeah, this is going down. So he calls Rocky, and he was about to get dressed, and then she was like, oh, no. What you doing? And she was like, well, I'm putting on my clothes. I don't want to be seen like this. She says that, dude, you running a prostitution ring and you caring about how somebody sees you? If you don't take that shit off, like, no, call Rocky now. So I'm like, Catherine working on something. So he calls Rocky. Rocky comes in there with the thing of champagne, and he begins to ask her, she begins to, to ask questions, about Candace and that whole situation. Then she was like, she's like, but yeah, you may say that, but I actually heard about Candace. I heard she fucked you up real good. And he was like, yeah. So he's like, so I'm pretty sure you want to get back at her. Like, so what, are you loyal to her? And all of a sudden, shit just starts turning around, and she tells him, she starts letting him know, like, so, I like your accent, so where are you from? She was like, from England. And she says, do you have a visa or not? And she's like, oh, I have a visa. She's like, well, my friends in national security can say something totally different. He's like, please, you don't have to do this. And she was like, oh, I do. Because I'm going to take Candace Young down, and you guys are going to help me do it. But then she says, oh, stand up. And she's like, what? And she's like, stand up. I'm horny. So stand up so I can get a good look at you. And then she kind of like checks him out and tells him, oh, well, won't you take it off? Obviously I have made these uniforms too, not tight enough so I can see the full package. And then she was saying, like, so strip. And then, like, Broderick was like, what the hell's going on? She's like, and you get your ass over here too. I'm about to have me a damn threesome. I'm like, oh, Catherine Cryer, just let this shit rip. And all of a sudden we see that damn Broderick feels some kind of way. It's like, well, I really just want to teach myself. And she's like, aw, you're such a dear. Come on now, strip down, let's go. I'm like, damn, Catherine got 2 men in one night. I ain't even mad at Catherine, because all the bullshit she had to deal with Jim, yeah, she need a come up, 1, maybe 2. I'm just saying. So hey, 2 for the price of 1. I ain't mad at you, Catherine. Keep doing you. Alright, so we see that Landon goes to the hospital to talk to the head doctor about the president-elect showing there, and that he's here to visit sick children. So they're using the fact that he's there to visit sick children in the hospital to give him clearance to move along the building. Then we see damn Wyatt back at the house with the 2 guards. He's talking shit, still being an arrogant little shit as usual. Then we see Sarah comes back looking for Jim. And we see that this damn Wyatt done set his sights on Sarah, gets all kind of aggressive, doesn't want to let her leave, and then he says that, can I make you a drink? And she's like, water. And he's like, please, we got plenty of alcohol in here. And the damn guards was like, there is no alcohol in here, Wyatt. Wyatt is like literally trying to play like he this hard ass, but yeah, you got these guards over here monitoring everything you do, and still is cocky as fuck, just like his father. Even when shit looks bad, this motherfucker still has this this high superiority complex that he's better than you, which is hilarious. So then they go in the kitchen, you know, he starts asking questions, so are you with my father? Are you sleeping with him? And she was like, I can wait outside. He's like, oh no, you don't need to wait outside. The mosquitoes are hungry. You might want to stay in here where it's nice. I'm like, Wyatt is really trying to get at Sarah. But then in a way, Sarah is kind of intrigued because, Wyatt is attractive, but Wyatt's fucking crazy. You're just going to be dealing with Jim Jr. fucking around with fucking Wyatt. So she's there, and because everything is being put on her, and she's trying to she's trying to take Jim down with her so she ain't giving up, because now the DA got pretty much got her wired trying to get her to trap Jim's ass. So then at the hospital, we see that David is actually getting better. He's gotten some tight bandages on, because he has third-degree burns, and he has to make sure he continues to do proper care so they don't get infected and shit. So then we see Jim shows up, and Jim's like, what the hell is going on up here? It took me a hard time to get up here. And then the nurse lets him know that the president-elect is coming here to visit some sick children. And then all of a sudden David was like, Charles, and he's like, yeah, I know him and everything, because remember when we first met Charles, we know that him and David know each other, but wait till he find out that Charles is with Candace. That is going to spin David's fucking head, especially when he finds out the truth that Erica was Candace's bottom bitch. When that shit comes out, because Jeffrey knows the truth, but once David finds that shit out, that's gonna be some shit. So, and from the previews of what's gonna happen this season, there's gonna be a lot of bombs that are gonna be dropped this season, and I can't wait. So pretty much Jim gets real rude with the nurse and says, well, fine, hurry up and get your ass up out of here. So he starts talking to David about Sarah. That she got caught with evidence, and she came to my house wearing a wire, and he says, so far I'm good, but she's not gonna stop coming. She can talk and can take me down and everything. And he says that, so do you have anything on her? He's like, yeah, her past. And he says, well, fine, put that in front of her, let her know what's going on. And he's saying that now the DA knows everything. So yeah, George is gonna continue his campaign to take down the criers. So then they start talking some more, and Jim lets him know that Catherine got this little boy whore over there at the hotel, and he was like, it's good for me, better him than me, and then David starts talking about Veronica and Benny and shit. And he was like, man, what is up with our damn women that they keep going after these young ass boys? But then he was like, but David, how old was Erica? Before she died and all that, how old was Erica? And then he flipped that shirt around like, that was different. And besides, how old was Candace? I'm like, these motherfuckers are tripping. And she says, yeah, Candace is about 114 years old. I'm like, Jim is a mess. So pretty much she says that, look, just, get to the bottom of this to make sure that this doesn't get any worse as far as this whole situation with Sarah. And then all of a sudden, he gonna pat him on the back and says, okay, I'll talk to you later. He's like, ow! And he's like, did that hurt? I'm like, Jim, you ain't gonna be happy to somebody beat your ass. Keep it up. Crazy self. And then all of a sudden, we see that Hannah, Derek, and Mitch are sitting in the waiting room We see Secret Service goes in there, they putting people out, and they cleared the whole thing. Secret Service knows exactly who Hannah is, calls her by name, and say that, are these two gentlemen with you? And he was like, what is like, no, Miss Young, we need to know, are these two gentlemen with you? Very short with it. She's like, yeah, they're with me. So they knew Derek's information, and they knew Mitch's, and they's like, what the hell is going on? These guys know our names and shit. What the hell is going on over here? And then lo and behold, damn, Candace walks in there with Charles, and then here it is. Damn, Candace like, oh hell no. Like, this damn daughter of mine done got the president-elect in her back pocket. So it's gonna be interesting what's gonna go down next week when they actually sit down and talk to each other. Hannah and Derek versus, you know, Charles and Candace. That's gonna be an interesting conversation. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. They're all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots. So until next time, everybody, take care.